and salutations. Please allow me to welcome you to Masterpiece Theater. I'm your host, Obba Babatunde, and here on Masterpiece Theater, we celebrate the very best in the spoken word, the written word, and the word expressed in song. In addition, we pay tribute to the talented artists that bring those words to life. Each week here on Masterpiece Theater, I have the pleasure of engaging brilliant artists in one-on-one conversation that explores the great treasures and these writers and actors and singers and dancers possess as we spotlight their artistry that illuminates us all. So I say, a very warm welcome. And indeed, welcome, welcome, welcome. Obba Babatunde here, thrilled to be back with you here on Masterpiece Theater. I am so honored, as always, to have special guests that join me here at Masterpiece Theater for your entertainment pleasure, as well as enlightening and educating and lifting us all. But before I introduce my guest today, I want to talk about briefly, we had a very special day that just happened. Something that was absolutely mind-boggling. For many, I spoke to some seniors, and for them it was really a special time because to see this man, Barack Hussein Obama, sworn into office for a second term, for them, they just were beyond, it was beyond words for them. I know I myself was moved and taken by this experience, and for it to happen on the day of the great Martin Luther King Jr. celebration as well was really a historical event. I'd like to take a moment and let's take a look. For those of you who may have been busy and not gotten a chance to see what this experience was like, I want you to take a peek at this.
Thank you so much. Vice President Biden, Mr. Chief Justice, members of the United States Congress, distinguished guests, and fellow citizens. Each time we gather to inaugurate a president, we bear witness to the enduring strength of our Constitution. We affirm the promise of our democracy. We recall that what binds this nation together is not the colors of our skin, or the tenets of our faith, or the origins of our names. What makes us exceptional, what makes us American, is our allegiance to an idea articulated in a declaration made more than 2 centuries ago. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Today, we continue a never-ending journey to bridge the meaning of those words with the realities of our time. For history tells us that while these truths may be self-evident, they have never been self-executing. That while freedom is a gift from God, it must be secured by His people here on earth. The patriots of 1776 did not fight to replace the tyranny of a king with the privileges of a few or the rule of a mob. They gave to us a republic, a government of and by and for the people, entrusting each generation to keep safe our founding creed. And for more than 200 years we have. Through blood drawn by lash and blood drawn by sword, we learned that no union founded on the principles of liberty and equality could survive half slave and half free. we made ourselves anew and vowed to move forward together. Together, we determined that a modern economy requires railroads and highways to speed travel and commerce, schools and colleges to train our workers. Together, we discovered that a free market only thrives when there are rules to ensure competition and fair play. Together, we resolved that a great nation must care for the vulnerable and protect its people from life's worst hazards and misfortune. Through it all, we have never relinquished our skepticism of central authority, nor have we succumbed to the fiction that all society's ills can be cured through government alone. Our celebration of initiative and enterprise, our insistence on hard work and personal responsibility.
Now that is online, so if you haven't had a chance to experience it, please go and afford yourself the opportunity to see and experience what this probably will never be seen and experienced again in that way. Honored to be alive at this time and to be able to see what this experience was. There was some talk, and, I'm going to open the lines up. Let me just give the phone number, 323-965-1600. That's 323-965-1600. There was an interesting article online today in reference to the inauguration's ceremonies, and they talked about the fact that it was purported that the song performed by Beyonce was lip sync, that she didn't sing it live. And I would like to hear somebody's viewpoints of, does that matter? Does it change your viewpoints of the experience? And then maybe talk a little bit about, if we get an opportunity, why that would be the thing that was the most talked about over the president's address and the acceptance. So if you got an itch and you want to scratch it, give us a call, 323-965-1600. And we're going to come right back. I'm going to take a little quick commercial break, and then we'll come right back. I love that track. That's by the wonderful Akin Tunde. I was a participant in the MLK parade this weekend, and he's a local artist who really has really put out some great music. So if you're around somewhere and you check out Akin Tunde, he is a a really fine musician and a man of the community. So now, which leads me to, listen, the lines are still open at 323-965-1600 pertaining to your feelings about the inauguration. If you have an itch that you want to scratch and call us up, give us a call. But I want to talk to you today now about my special guest. In studio, I have with me a man who also has his work I've been familiar with. If anybody is also in the area of the Los Angeles area, you can also see this man's work. He's a brilliant artist, and I don't use those terms lightly. This man really has not something that he just does in terms of the artistic presentation of what he puts a paintbrush to easel, but he also has a means by which he has something to say that he expresses. My experience has been that when you want to identify what was going on during the period of any point in history, that we can go back and we can look at the art, we can listen to the music, listen to the lyrics, and it will be able to identify exactly what was really going on during that time. Not what was reported, not someone else's presentation, concept, or idea of what they want you to believe, but the artist, because they're free to express as they want to what it is that's really going on, is found in the art. And this man's art does that. His name is Patrick Henry Johnson. And I'm going to read just a little bit of his bio because it's fascinating. I mean, he's been painting since the age of 5. Visual images, even those that was, whether it was an image that he saw or one that took place in his mind. This was a true gift. His family moved to St. Petersburg, Florida, when Patrick was 6. Drawing was an escape from the crowd of 9 siblings at home. By the time Patrick got to high school, all of his attention was focused on art. He was on the verge of flunking when he realized that if he was serious about his passion, he would have to graduate and find a place to be his true self. He discovered the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale and had to forge his mother's signature to obtain grants and loans because she refused, feeling that her son needed to get his head out of the clouds and secure a quote-unquote real job. And this is interesting, you see. The criminal act of forgery was discovered after 9 months. And even though Patrick's talents had risen to the highest ranks, he was summarily dismissed. He eventually moved to Los Angeles in 1986. His first professional job was at Culver City Graphics, where he worked on graphic designs, illustrations, and typography. At night, he concentrated on his personal and surreal paintings on canvas. One of the first highlights of Patrick's art career was a one-man show at the Century Plaza Hotel. From there, he secured a quote-unquote real job for 13 years working for a mural company, painting beautiful images on walls all over the world. Patrick Henry Johnson is indeed a magnificent artist. Patrick, thank you so much for being here today. I welcome you to the show, and I'm thrilled that you've taken the time out of your schedule to come and join me.
Thank you very much for having me. This is a beautiful experience. Thank you.
If my memory serves me correct, we initially met at an event where I had done a feature film called The Celestine Prophecy.
Yes.
And you were kind enough to come up to me and tell me what you felt about my work in that, as well as your experience with the book.
Right.
Isn't that the first time that we actually met?
That's the exact first time. And I remember the movie, which was not as good as the book. But the movie, it missed the point. And your character that you played was the only character that I felt in the movie that was authentic. The other characters were cookie cutter, kind of robotic, and there was no soul in the characters. Mm-hmm. But your character embodied soul.
Well, thank you very much, brother. And I thanked you for that compliment then. And then I got an opportunity to be exposed to your genius. And that's what we're here to talk about today and to celebrate today. Patrick has been kind enough to bring some of his art pieces for us to experience today. So I'd like to go to the first piece, and I want you guys, it's called The Traffic Signs, and What Are They Saying? Now, as I said, Patrick doesn't just paint for the sake of painting. He paints with a consciousness, a usable consciousness. Patrick, in terms of this one, would you just take us through a little bit about what it's saying and the inspiration for how you brought it about?
Okay, well, first the inspiration was brought about. The painting was actually done in 1994, and my daughter, Janae, was 5 years old. And I was taking her to school one day, and she asked me, she said, "Daddy, why are the traffic lights red, yellow, and green?"
Okay.
I didn't know. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, why did they choose those colors?
I was like, I have no idea. And that question from her inspired me to find out why, which I still hadn't cemented the information, but it brought about this painting. So I started paying attention to the signs and what they were saying. And they don't say what they really mean.
Okay, let's get to that. Go ahead, brother. So
the parking signs, for instance, it says, "Go away, no parking anytime." So I took it says no parking anytime. So what I did was I took it and say, well, go away, no thinking anytime. And I think that as a collective society, I think we're on the mass hypnosis. And I think this painting, the go away, no thinking anytime. And then also it says move, as I put an extra O in there so it gives the sound of a cow. Move with the herd.
Move with the herd.
Right. So the collective sleep state, the dream state that we're in, it's like a herd of cows or a herd of sheep. So we have been conditioned to, as the sign says, consume. So being that we consume, and I started looking up the words to find out what these words meant, because the word consume doesn't mean what we think it means.
Okay.
Consume means to destroy, to annihilate, to pillage. So when, let's say, for instance, a fire consumes a forest, it completely destroys it.
Okay.
So we just, as a society, we think that we are consumers, and we call ourselves that.
Right.
Which is a complete misnomer. That's not what it is. Also, when we consume and we obey blindly without thinking about who we are, what is our mission, or whatever our mission is for coming to this planet at this time in existence, we don't think about those things. So we conform to whatever the system is and whatever the system says that we should do. And once we conform to it, we do everything that the sign says. We consume, we move with the herd, we don't think. We don't think. So wherever the system prods us, we're like a well-behaved animal. So wherever the system prods us, we move in that direction. And it prods us in another direction, we move in that direction. And it prods us to where it wants us to be. And we do that.
You see, so this is fascinating, and I love it, and I love the fact that I've had the opportunity to be exposed to your work and others. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as you look at these signs, you'll be able to identify to yourself: are you a consumer in the method of which you believe you're a consumer? Or are you being consumed? Are you a conformist, or have you been conformed? Are you really taking the time to think or not? You know, so this is why, you know, when we look at this gentleman's work, and he's fascinating because his paintings really speak to larger issues than just a beautiful portrait, and at the same time, the work that he's done really articulates it in its true essence. Now, we have another painting. There's one that we have of Gil Scott-Heron. Did we have that available? I wanted to take a look, and I want you to tell me a little bit about when you decided to do Gil. And we'll pull it up as you talk about it. But just tell us when you decided to do Gil. Now, Gil Scott-Heron, for those of you who may not be familiar with Gil, is one of our great artists, vocalists, and another person who becomes a historian, a griot, if you will, in the tradition of being able to tell the stories of our history. Now, we have the photograph up. Now, I want you to take a peek at this, and Patrick, if you would, please share with me what the inspiration for this was, and what you put into this and everything.
Well, I was commissioned by radio station KPFK to do this portrait of Gil Scott for their Heroes Awards. And the painting is 24 by 36, 2 feet by 3 feet. So when I started the painting, I got the image down on canvas the way I like it. Mm-hmm. But after I got it down, I turned the painting upside down, and I was working on it with my right hand. I'm naturally right-handed. So I'm working on it with my right hand, and I've been training myself to also paint with my left hand. Mm-hmm. The difference between painting with my right hand and left hand is the left hand is much freer as a painter. The right hand is much more technical because all of the time that I've spent polishing the craft with my right hand. So the left hand is much freer as it paints. So while I was painting with my left hand, and I was about halfway through with the painting, I took a brush and mixed the color with my right hand to hold the brush while I was painting with my left hand, and then switch the brushes out and then just continue to paint. But while I was holding the paintbrush and painting, I'm like, well, I could just paint with both my hands.
and did you begin to do that?
So I'm painting with both my hands and watching the whole process unfold and being appreciative of the moment that I had just brought into existence.
Yes.
Just being appreciative and just being there in the moment and watching this whole thing happen and allowing it to be. And then so a friend of mine, his name is Lamb, he came in and he was standing behind me. I didn't know that he was standing behind me, so I'm painting and painting and painting and painting. And there was such a feeling of this euphoric feeling that was coming over me. So I'm painting and painting, and I got almost to the finish, the painting, and I had to put the brushes down because the energy was so extremely powerful. Yes. I had to get up and move around. So when I got up, I looked back and I saw my friend, and he goes, I just cannot believe that you're out here painting with both hands at the same time and watching. And I'm the only one that was, privy to watching you do that. Mm-hmm. And I actually finished the painting with my left hand while it was upside down. So
not only were you painting with both hands at the same time, but the painting was upside down.
It was upside down. Yeah, and then, well, you can tell on the bottom of the painting, I signed the painting with my left hand in cursive, backwards. So I've been practicing writing left-handed. Wow. So the thing about writing left-handed backwards in cursive is the energy that you use moves away from your body the exact same way if you're writing with your right hand.
Yes.
But if you're writing with your left hand in cursive the same way that you do with your right hand, the move is across your body. So it's much more difficult.
Yes, yes.
It's much more difficult to write with your left hand across your body. So when it moves away, there's a flow that happens, and it's much easier.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? You know, this is fascinating. I mean, I've been blessed to be able to do a lot of things, but I'm challenged to draw a straight line. And so when I see the kind of work that you're able to do, not just with one hand, but with both hands and upside down, I marvel at it. But at the same time, telling a story and capturing, because you know what? You capture the spirit of Gil Scott-Heron. It's not just a portrait of him.
Absolutely.
You've captured the spirit of, and I've seen that in all of your work. Let's go to another one of the paintings, and I want you. This one is pretty noted, and many people have seen this, and we talk about this. Let's focus in on this, and I want you to tell me again about what the insight and the gift that you gave to us. What the inspiration for this gift was.
Oh, absolutely. The painting was inspired by a former girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a beautiful image. We were on our way to a movies or something, I can't remember, but she had picked her hair out, and it was just so beautiful, and the sunlight was behind her. Mm-hmm. And when I saw her silhouette, I'm like, wait a minute. Just hold on. So I went and got my pencil, sketch pad, and sketched her outline.
Wow.
So now I have the outline, and I can move from the outline to do the painting. So when I got back to my canvas, I went ahead and sketched it on the canvas, got everything the way I wanted it. And the painting is called the elixir. And an elixir is a potion that the alchemists use to transform lead into gold. So it transforms a base metal into a precious metal. Metaphysically speaking, an elixir transforms a person from a lower level of understanding or consciousness, or however you want to say it, mm-hmm. to a higher level of expansion. And that's what Chiron, the image of her, that's what she did for me when she came to my life. The person who she was at the moment she came to my life was the exact thing that I needed. She was the elixir that I needed. This beautiful, vibrant woman, and not just beautiful physically and great body and all that, and she has all of that, but the essence of her, the understanding of her and who she was, and she still remains for me when her and I were together. And so when I did the mural of her,
yes,
which is 40 feet tall by 40 feet wide, we were no longer together.
Wow. So now the crown of her hair, of her hair, that glow.
Yes.
Talk to me about a bit about that, and also the choice that there's the yellow, the red, and the blue, and then that which seems to be emanating from the top, just below her breast collar, right up to her head, and then into center of her head. Share a little bit about that. I mean, it's just fascinating. But firstly, about why you chose those three particular colors.
I wanted to go darker in the purple.
Yes.
So it goes deeper into a night sky. But I could not, at the moment, get the purple that I needed.
Okay.
What I also did was put a proposal together to have people in the community, business people in the community, yes, to fund the project.
Okay, okay.
That didn't happen the way I intended it to happen. So what happened is I ended up painting the painting and using my own money.
Okay.
And friends donated money, and Osh Hardware donated paint. Mm-hmm. So the whole project was just done gratis.
Yes.
Yeah, but the crown of her head.
Yes.
the last day that I was painting, I finally secured enough money to rent a scissor lift. And the scissor lift takes you up to a height that you need to work, and then it stays there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been working on a ladder at the time. So I was working on a 15-foot extension ladder, which extends to 30 feet.
Right.
And when I could paint an area, I would have to go down the ladder, move it over, and do the exact same thing.
Right.
That's why the painting took 2 months, to complete. But the crown of her head is where the DNA strand moves out of her head into the atmosphere. So
that's what I was feeling. So that it's moving right through it. When I must tell you, when I looked at this painting, what I got was I really got a sense of a great spiritual growth. That it was about the spirit of this image as it moved through us as a people, and evolved to a higher state of consciousness. That was what I got. So see, that's what's interesting about art, is that, unto the individual, it becomes what it is. And so I thought what it would be like if I had an opportunity to actually sit with the artist and to ask the artist what was in their mind, as much as like when a composer writes a song, what was in their mind and their thoughts when they initially started to compose this. Now, I think there was another opportunity that you were able to bring forth when you just had I just saw your work at a great exhibit. Talk to me about that exhibit and some of the things that you had there. It was at it was on 43rd and Degman, and
Fernando Pullum.
The Fernando Pullum Center, right?
Yes.
And you had some work there.
I had 3 pieces there, and I almost backed out of the event.
I'm glad you didn't, because I got a chance to see your stuff.
I am so glad that I didn't, because if I had backed out of the event, I wouldn't be here.
Yes.
And this is such a treat. But I called the curator like 2 days prior or a day prior, and I said, well, I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared, and I cannot step out unprepared, and things are not in order. And she was adamant about me being in the event, and also that she would take care of everything that needed to be taken care of.
We should mention her name.
Her name is Maria Elena Cruz.
Yes, and I met Elena, and she really is also an artist unto herself in a great magnitude. She teaches art. She informed me that she's fascinated with butterflies. Yeah, and that the whole issue of she raises them, and the whole issue of the silkworm. And she described to me, and there's actually an exhibit that she has there, which absolutely shows what the silkworm goes through. Yes, the pain that it goes through in order to present this beautiful butterfly, and that its body is designed to do this, but to actually on the silkworm you can actually see some of the blood. And she said she wanted to exhibit that because it in her own way talked about how we must generate the good that sometimes takes going through difficult times and hardships. There were also several other beautiful pieces of art there by some women. I mean, can you talk a little bit about just who those was? And then we're going to get to another piece, which is one of my favorites. But some of those women that were there, that they presented their art. I don't have their names in front of me. I wanted to have them on the show, but we didn't get a chance to meet. But we should have people be able to check out the Fernando Center and talk to the curator, and I'm sure she'd be able to, for those who have an interest in seeing this kind of work. This is really important stuff. It's not just taking and putting pencil to paper or paintbrush to easel. There is something to be said. That being said, I want to pull up this image because there's a story that goes with it. This is the great Maurice White of Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I know that you had a real journey with this particular piece. Share it with me.
Okay. I was listening to That's the Way of the World, which is such a beautiful song.
Yes, it is.
Written in 1975. Such a beautiful song. And I'm like, okay, I need to find out what he did to get to where he was to write this music. I need to find this out. I need to listen to this music, and then I can find it out. So I went to Amoeba Records, bought the Earth, Wind & Fire Greatest Hit double CD, 34 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it every day for at least 9 months. Every day. And I bought a canvas, stretched the canvas, and as a matter of fact, February the 1st of 2012, I posted on Facebook that I'm going to do a painting of Maurice White. The painting is called The Transformation of Reese and the Illusion of Permanence. So I'm going to do this painting of Maurice, and then this painting is going to, with my intention, facilitate or help facilitate his healing process.
Yes, yes, yes. Now you also, when you did this painting, you knew you wanted to do this, but you didn't know how you were going to get it to him.
Oh, I had no idea.
And tell the audience about how this manifested itself, because he has it now, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's at his house.
It's at his home.
So what happened is, after I finished the painting, I contacted friends and see if I could, get a connection. No one had a solid connection. One day, I went to Mo Better Burger, which is on La Brea. My friends, they own the establishment. So I go there and I tell them about the painting. I said, oh yeah, it's in the car. I just left a client. I would like to bring the painting in so you can see it. I walk in there with the painting. The painting is 6 feet tall by 4 feet wide. I walk in there, and this guy, tall, dark, handsome guy, he says, did you paint that? And I go, yeah, I did. He says, what are you going to do with it? I said, well, it's a gift from Maurice. He says, well, have you contacted him yet? I said, no, but I will. And he goes, well, man, I work with his brother. I just left his brother like 2 hours ago. I was like, well, you got to be kidding. But I knew he wasn't kidding.
Right,
you know? So he said, well, can I take a picture of it and email him the picture right now? I'm like, yeah, of course. He did that. 45 minutes later, Verdine called me. And when my phone rang, I didn't even look at the phone. I knew it was Verdine. Like, no, that's Verdine.
Verdine is?
Verdine White is Maurice White's brother, who plays bass for Earth, Wind & Fire. And you listen to the songs, the bass line carries the song.
Absolutely, absolutely.
No doubt. Carries the songs. So a couple of weeks after that, Verdine comes to my house, and he's sitting in the kitchen, and he's shaking his head. He goes, I don't know how you did it, but you did it. I don't know how you got me to come to your house to sit in your kitchen and look at this painting. I don't know how you did that. He said, because that never happens.
Right.
Most people, that's not something that's going to happen. And so after I explained it to him, he says, well, what drove you to do this? And I wrote on the back of my paintings, I always write what's happening in my life on the paintings. But I wrote on the back of the painting to facilitate Maurice's wellness, his healing, but also to let him know that all the love that he poured into that music, Be Ever Wonderful, that's my favorite song.
Yes.
All of the love that he poured into that music, I harnessed it, and all of the love that I had, I poured it right back into the painting.
Brother, that is beautiful. And listen, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, listening and watching. This is a testament about how you go forward. This is the concept of the realization of we walk by faith, not by sight. Because there was no way that he could have possibly known how it would be that he would ever get this to this man. And right now, it is possible that your dreams can manifest themselves. So don't stop. Go forward. Walk by faith and not by sight, because it ain't always what it looks like. We'll be right back. I'm going to take a quick commercial break.
Hey, are you tired of those same old energy drinks with bad taste? Make a switch to Pitbull Energy Drink. with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Pitbull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pitbull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. With a guaranteed no aftertaste, make a switch to Pitbull Energy Drink. Pitbull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pitbull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. For more information on Pitbull energy drinks, bars, and mixes, visit their website at hiphopbev.com. That's hiphopbev.com. Online orders available at hiphopbev.com.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Listen, you know what? I got to tell you guys something. Something just miraculous just took place. Very seldom does this happen. I get very often some friends who are kind enough to support me in the things that I do. And I very often would love to be able to get them to come and hang out with me here in studio. And I had talked to this buddy of mine, and he said, well, Obba, I'm going to be in town, but unfortunately, man, I can't do the show because I'm working on that day. And I said, well, all right, brother, just give me a call and let me know, maybe we can get together and grab something to eat, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, my friend just stopped in. He is obviously taking some time off from the gig to come by here to surprise me. And ladies and gentlemen, you know him as Officer Bird from Judge Judy's show. My man Bird is in the studio. What's up, baby?
What's happening, man? How you doing?
You surprised me, man.
Oh man, I don't know what I was thinking this week, man. I thought we were taping today, and I was like, nah, I can't do it. And all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, I'm not working today. I better call Obba and ask him can I come on.
Hey, listen, now look, everybody, you guys just see him on, as I said, as Officer Bird on Judge Judy, and he's very stalwart and very serious. But you don't realize the magnitude of this man's talent. This man is also a brilliant actor, performer in his own right. And what he does for me very often, and I get a big kick out of it, is he'll call me up. But he won't call me up as Bird. He'll call me up as different personalities, and those personalities are threatening me if I don't call Bird what's going to happen to me. So now one of those individuals is Bernie Mac. I got a call from Bernie Mac, and Bernie Mac wanted me to call Bird up. So I don't know if we can get Bernie. Now, Bernie, did you get a chance? The president was just had the inauguration. Bernie, from the other side, what did it look like to you?
I'm sitting up here, and the people up here won't give me my wings. I'm up here in heaven. I'm walking around like some kind of bat, okay? I can't get no wings or nothing like that. So I said, hey, can I at least watch the inauguration? They said, why? I said, because I feel like it. Why you gonna catch an attitude with me? So I saw it, man. I love it. The president looked good. First lady looked good. I like the bangs and everything like that. It's beautiful. I pray for me.
Now listen, see, now that was Bernie from the other side. Now also, I know that this next person, he's also a big fan of Bird because he watches Judge Judy. Jack, what did you think about the whole situation with the inauguration?
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm looking at it. I'm going, nah. Bird's out there. I'll let him handle it. But the first lady's looking dynamite, I'm telling you. And Beyonce, I got a feeling that somebody was just staring at her behind, But she was singing, and I loved it. It's a great thing.
Thank you, Jack Nicholson.
No problem.
Now, listen, also, is one other person. Now, this person actually did a sort of a video for the re-election efforts of Barack Obama. Samuel L., what did you think about the whole inauguration situation?
Well, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? I was staring at it, and I was looking at the whole thing, and I said, this is some bull here. That's what I was thinking to myself, because nobody asked me to come no place, okay? And I'm tired of the whole thing. I'm tired of the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. I got to delete this. I got to censor myself, man.
Samuel L., thank you so much for weighing in on that. Bird, brother, I am so thrilled, man. So tell me, man, now I know also that, on the serious side of things, that this gentleman, he really gives himself to the community, and he's working with a lot of the youth. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the program that you've got going and what's going on with that?
I am the national chairman of the board of the OK program. OK standing for Our Kids, and it's a mentorship program which deals with the high dropout rates and the high incarceration rate and homicide rate among African American males. Man, our boys are suffering. Their numbers are huge in all the wrong places, and so we have to. We're trying to start a male mentorship initiative. It's called the 100,000 Strong Initiative, and we're trying to raise an army, if you will, of black male mentors, 100,000 of them within the next 10 years, averaging 10,000 a year all over this country. If we don't take the time to start to pay attention to what's happening with our boys, and if we don't do something about it, it's a shame, because we should be able to do something, man, to help them.
Absolutely. And if one is interested in participating, getting involved, how would one go about doing that?
I'm gonna make it simple for you. Go to www.okprogram, the letters OK program.org. Okay, okprogram.org. All the information is there. The conference that we're doing is in Oakland, California. It's from June 13th through the 15th. We're going to have a lot of surprise guests, a lot of high-profile celebrity guests, but we're also going to have some politicians there, some professors from different universities, all of whom are coming together for the same purpose, to come and lend their support for our boys. And the great part is that the great Obba Babatunde is going to be there. He is our keynote speaker. He didn't know this before I said this just now, but we couldn't get Bill Cosby because Bill's doing a whole lot of things. So Bill said, "Get Obba," and I said, "I will get Obba to come down and do the thing." Thank you very much.
I'm honored, and I will be there. I certainly will if you would like me to be there, because clearly, this is a very serious situation that we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
And there's no reason that we shouldn't take this into our own hands and make sure that this happens. Because, we talk about the mentorship, we talk about how we go forward and we help these young men. And, Patrick is doing it through his art. Each one of us has a gift to be able to give.
That's right.
And mentorship can sometimes simply be a conversation with a young man that listens. It doesn't even have to be about you telling the person or giving advice. It's being able to listen to what that person might be experiencing. And through your own life experience, you might be able to offer a suggestion that might at least take them, even if it's nothing more for the next half an hour, to the point of where they might make the better decision than the wrong decision. This is the kind of thing that I'm proud of my friend Bird for doing, and I'm certainly going to be a participant. And again, give us that information, the web that they can go to, because I really want people to pay attention to this and come out and support it. It is.
Go to okprogram.org. It's just that simple. You will be able to click on, find out more about the program and the history of it and what we're doing. We are in 6 different states, 7 different cities, and growing, and it's helping the lives of thousands of young African-American males all over the country. And so we just want you to really just look in there and see what God would tell you to do.
Yes.
And, he'll let you know what your contribution is. And I couldn't have put it better myself in terms of mentorship. You just described something that's wonderful. Even if it's a half an hour, a few minutes to speak some words of encouragement into the life of a young African American male or female or any kid. It's worth the time.
Absolutely. And, here we are now. We have 2013. There's a lot of things that can happen. We have technology to be able to reach one another in a way that we've never had before. We have a sense of dedication now committed to the work that we should be doing, and we've got to. We really do. I mean, it's a lot simpler, than it really might purport to be, because what happens is that we see in the media this problem appears. The numbers are staggering. This can't be by happenstance. I would have to suggest that it's somehow by design that this is going on. And if we don't take the time to communicate, the terminology "kids at risk," people that they throw that around, and I say, well, every child is at risk. But if every child is at risk, then every adult is at risk.
That's right.
Because the children are truly the future.
That's right.
They are the future. They are what it is that we need to invest in, so that there is a continued society that continues to grow and prosper. Not just put ourselves in the situation, well, these kids. Take some time. I'll give you a case point, an example of experience, so that you get a perspective on what our youth male has to deal with. I was at the mall the other day, and I saw a young man, and he had his pants sagging, and they were actually below his butt cheeks. And I said to him, hey, brother. He said, oh, wow, what's up, man? He said, I love your work. I said, I appreciate that. I said, let me ask you a question, bro. I said, why put them on? And he said, huh? I said, why put them on? I said, he said, oh, you talking about my pants? I know, bro. I know, sir. I said, no, I'm serious. I said, because my understanding is that overgarments are to cover undergarments, and so if you're not going to cover them, hey, don't put them on. And there's a point to the story, and because it's not to disparage the young man. And he said, well, I know my mom telling me the same thing, And I said, no, I'm not trying to be parental here. I'm asking a real question, and I want you to ask yourself that question. Mm-hmm. He said, well, it's just a style, sir. And I said, well, then start a new style. Don't wear no pants tomorrow. And just think of the money that you saved. But I didn't stop there. I went to the store, right? And I said, let me see what the choices are for them to purchase.
Right.
And your waist size is to coincide with your inseam.
Right.
And what I noticed was that many of the pants were designed with exceptionally high crotch. Mm-hmm. So that if they pull them up, it's actually uncomfortable to wear. And there were some even that had leggings inside, elasticated legs, which held the pants up so that they were designed to be worn that way.
Yeah.
They were designed to be worn that way.
Yeah.
Now, that style, as I understand, comes from felon dress. One size fits all. You sag in prison because you don't have a belt. And it is also some means for advertisement. Mm-hmm. For one's availability mm-hmm. for other male counterparts. So, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know these things and where these things come from and what our young people are up against. So we've got to take it one step further than just criticizing. We've got to take it and extend a helping hand and listen to them. Listen to them. Listen, guys, I'm about to run out of time here, but I want to thank my guest, Patrick Henry Johnson, a brilliant artist. Sir, thank you so much for the work that you do. Please, if you will, tell us where we might be able to see your work. If you've got anything coming up, or just there's some things right here in Los Angeles. If you're in Los Angeles, I know there's some murals that people can go see. Where might that be?
There's a mural. The Elixir mural is located at Crenshaw and Stocker.
Yes.
And my next mural is Slauson and Overland. The proposal is on Mark Ridley Thomas's desk right now. Mark, I know you hear me. It's on the desk right now. So that mural is 95 feet long by 25 feet high.
Wow.
And it's the painting right behind us.
Wow. Well, listen, brother, we want to thank you so much for your artistry and for your dedication, and we wish you continued success. And again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your life and schedule to come and share it with me. Bird.
Thank you.
My friend. Brother, so what's going on over there, Judge Judy, man?
Oh, man, same soup, just warmed over, man. We just continuing what we do, man. We're in season 17 right now. Looking at season 18 starting in April, and you got to come by and hang out with me, man. Come and have lunch. Talk to her evilness. I mean, her judge. I promise I won't let it get on you too bad, man.
I appreciate that. But look out.
I hope you're going to invite me back here, man.
You certainly will be.
This is fantastic, man.
Thank you, man. You have an open invitation. Thank you so much.
I love this, man.
Listen, I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. Before I go, we had a guest on the show, my friend Darren DeWitt Henson, and he has a book. And I would like it, if you get an opportunity, to check it out. It is a book of his writings, and I had an opportunity of spending some time with him yesterday. I talked to the fact he's been on the show. It's called Intimate Thoughts, and it really is. What was as fascinating as the work was how he described how he came about creating these things. So please, if you get an opportunity, Intimate Thoughts by Darren DeWitt Henson. And he's back in the dance world as well, and has got a new feature film that he just completed that's coming out. So stay tuned and look out for him. Again, I thank you so much. Remember, as I always say in life, as you do anything is how you do everything. You don't need anybody's permission to be great. You can start right now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you right back here again next week on Masterpiece Theater. Masterpiece Theater is brought to you by Roscoe's Media Center, sponsored by Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles, the makers of Pitbull Energy Drink. The show is engineered by Poetess, written by Obba Babatunde and Kennedy Goldsby, and produced by Paul Goldsby, executive producer, The Good Herb.